Hello and welcome to this, the 80th episode of the Sockmatician podcast. My name is Nathan Taylor, also known as Sockmatician, and I'm broadcasting to you, not live, but I'm certainly recording this for you from a little flat in the north of London. I'm also very hay fevery today, so forgive me if I'm a bit itchy and touchy-nosy and not very adherent to all the rules about I'm on my own, it's fine, I'm not going to be touching anybody else today, so I can touch my own nose as much as I want to, and I really need to, I'm afraid, because I don't know if any of you are hay fever sufferers, but I'm sure you are. You'll know that you wish that you had, like, either Edward Scissorhands or I wish I was Wolverine and had those, I could just like shove them up my nose and scratch and scratch and scratch. Not a pleasant image, I'm sure. Sorry about that. I have been a busy boy. I've been very, in fact today, Ben and I have been out and we have, it's been lovely. We have been blackberrying. It's really, really exciting. We've got we're doing lots of walking at the moment. We're trying to get in our 10,000 steps a day. And if you don't have the kind of job where you are able to, if you're on your feet all day, walking up and down in restaurants or in retail or anything like that, where you walk a lot, 10,000 steps is quite a long way. It's somewhere about 8 kilometres, 5-6 miles. It's quite a lot, and it takes a little while to do that. So we try to take a couple of hours out of our day and go for a big walk. We've both got it's called a pedometer app. I think it's called Pedometer Plus Plus or something like that, as in. And it's really addictive. If you don't get your quota in, then both we do anyway. We're walking up and down the hall a few times. And you know, you go for a walk and you're like, oh, that was a really long walk, lovely. You open up pedometer app and it was 9,000 steps. You're like, dang nabbit. So we went out today, and yesterday we discovered this place. It's not far from us, it's about a 10-minute walk from where we are, so it isn't going to get us our requisite 10,000 steps a day. But we were walking down some of the roads near here. We got onto the North Circular, and found something called Long Lane Pasture. It's this beautiful, like, enclosed but open space, and it's full of blackberry bushes. Brambles everywhere, and they are literally festooned with blackberries. I've never seen anything like it. My sister and me and my mum, my sister and I and my mum all used to go blackberrying down the lane near where we used to live when we were kids, and even then, you know, you'd come home and your basket would be filled with some blackberries and ones that were a little bit red and a little bit purple. No, we've got this massive bowl filled. We took it's basically we took with us yogurt pots, but not little yogurt pots, but the bucket one with the handle, 1 litre each, full, brimming over the top with black, ripe, fabulous, juicy, squishy blackberries. I am still, as you can see, blimey, that's a bit too bright. I'm trying to get, there you go. I'm very allergic to blackberries. Well, most plants, really. And this is still, I got scratched, and that's come up in this great big red wheel there, and covered in, I don't know if you can see them at all, in these little pimples and prickles. It's you can see that? It's not a pretty sight. And my chest as well, covered in everything. Look, red scrapings from leaning into the blackberry bush and getting the prickles through my t-shirt, and I react in a very big way to anything that's anything plant-like of that kind. I'm trying to sort my lighting out on this because, excuse me, is that a bit better? I don't, everything tries to cancel out. I've got loads of bright lights on me, but everything looks like it's cancelling out, and anyway, so we come home with loads of blackberries, and we're going to put those in. They've been washed, and they're about to go, they're draining at the moment, and they're going to go in the freezer. We're going to make a nice blackberry and apple crumble, because it's going to be delicious. And actually, I have to say, it's really lovely to be able to forage for food. Really, really nice. Not just because it's free, but just the idea that something can come from the land, it's growing wild, and you can just pick it and eat it. Lovely. I was in the Thursday night Zoom last week, and it was so exciting. I had a newcomer to the group, a lady called T, who was visiting us I said visiting us. She was Zooming us from the US Virgin Islands in the Caribbean, and it was a lot earlier in the day for her than it was for us. It was late at night for me, but it was sort of early evening for her. And she went out into her garden to show us where she lived. It was like with her papaya tree and her banana tree. It was like envy, envy, envy. Love both of those fruits. And she picked banana. I was like, there you go. And that kind of stuff really, really makes me so excited. It's hard to put into words what it makes me feel. It's the idea. I don't want to be self-sufficient or anything like that. I don't have any wish for that kind of lifestyle. I like my home comforts. But I really do get a big kick out of doing something traditional or tangible. It's why I knit. Actually, genuinely, it's why I knit. People have often said, why did I learn to knit? And one of the reasons was because I got bullied into it by some friends who thought I would enjoy it. I don't think they quite understood what they were doing. But also because I had a lifestyle. I used to design websites as a sort of sideline. Always been an actor, but I used to design websites, and I had I'd spend all day between acting jobs working in a box office or in a call centre selling tickets on a computer screen. I'd get home and opening emails and doing stuff on a computer screen for clients, and I just wanted to do something where what do you get? What do you get at the end of that? Someone flicks the power switch off, you get nothing. I wanted something. That's what knitting is for me. So it's no surprise really that I like this kind of stuff. I also really enjoy. Does that help? Might do. I really enjoy. It's not a pretty view, by the way. If you're wondering what's out there, it's a brick wall. Someone else's window. If I touch that, you'll be able to. There you go. That's my view. And that's why the blind is always down. London living, eh? So let's just try and get that up. There we are. That'll have to do. It's the best I can do. And it's really exciting to be able to do something where I feel in touch with nature, which I don't get a chance to do very often. One of my greatest joys actually was a hat that I made. It's not the hat itself. The hat is dreadful. It's terrible design. It's terribly badly knitted. It doesn't fit me very well. But I had knitted. It's got a little fair isle band around the middle, and I used yarn that I had. It was fibre that I'd collected from a field and scoured and carded and spun on a drop spindle and then knitted into design for a hat, which is just it was so exciting to be able to have a hat that had yarn in it that I had literally collected from scraggons. Obviously all the spinners are going, no, don't collect the dropped stuff, it's all dry. Yeah, it is rubbish in, rubbish out and all that kind of stuff. Not very nice at all. I'm so sorry, I'm really sniffly. I'm on the edge of a sneeze. I've taken my antihistamines. It's just gonna be something you have to deal with, I'm afraid. If you're eating, I can only apologise. I'm gonna be all snotted horrible. So, what else have I been doing? In 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now, Ben and I are going, actually going on holiday, and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it. There are a few households. We're actually 4 households, and we are getting together, and we're sharing a holiday cottage. We are people who know each other incredibly well. We're all sort of godparents to each other's children, and this Ben's university friends. It's my camping lot, but we're going to Wales. Not everyone can join us this year for various reasons. Some to do with the idea of being in a large group of people, and for health reasons and things like that. So they're not thinking that's such a good idea for themselves, and we're sorry not to have them. Although it does make it easier for us. There's me and Ben, both of whom have had COVID-19, and there's one family, a couple and their children who've also had it as well. And then the other 2 families and children and single mother and child. We're all coming together, and we've thought about this long and hard. So I'm sorry if you don't agree with what we're doing, but we are being very, very sensible about it. So we're going to be staying together in a cottage, and we had a long Zoom with all the different parties involved, and we said, is this something that we all feel comfortable doing? Is it something that we should be doing? Are there any long-reaching ramifications for it that means we shouldn't? And actually we thought we're doing the right things in terms of safeguarding everybody there, from now on until we go. If anyone starts to feel ill, gets any sore throats or coughs or any symptoms that could in any way be linked to, it's not a runny nose, this is hay fever, shush, which could be linked to COVID-19, then that household won't go. End of story, we just won't go. If anyone gets ill while we are there and starts to feel symptoms, they will immediately come home and go into isolation. And probably everyone who lives in that household with that person as well. And the others, when we're there, we're going to be in an isolated bubble. We're going to be cooking together, we're going to be staying under the same roof, camping in the same garden. We're all going to be around each other. And we've decided we need to be able to do that properly. We need to be able to enjoy our time together as people who love being with each other. We all adore each other. And if anybody does get a whiff of symptoms and someone has to go home, everyone who remains will go into isolation completely when we get home, so that we're not taking anything from that to our other lives. So it may be slightly bending the rules for what's currently available, but it's sort of within the parameters of comfortable for all of us. And you know what? I think we need it. I think all of us we've all suffered. I've made no secret of the fact that I've struggled quite a lot with my own mental health, but other people have as well. And I think lockdown treats people in different ways. And I think now that the rules are being relaxed, I've got my, wherever it is, my bag's not here, but I go everywhere with masks now. We're going to be, when I go into shops, I'm wearing masks. Thank you, Lorena. I think I've shown it before, but this is a bag that Lorena made for me a couple of years ago, and look, it's fabulous. It's got little red HIV ribbons all over it, but she had some of this material left, and she's made me a fabulous face mask. It's really comfortable, and it covers right from just under my eyes, and it fits really, really well out to my ears, down there, and down just under my chin. So it's really, really, really covering very well. And obviously it's going to be the rules that from I think a week on Friday, if you're going into shops, you have to wear masks anyway. So that will all be true. And listen, now people have the choice. If people don't like the idea of going to a pub, you don't have to go to a pub. If you don't like the idea, if you going into shops still makes you feel anxious, then stay home and get your. By all means, what I mean, you can choose to stay home. I'm not saying you should. That sounded really didactic. No, stay home. No, I don't mean that at all. But if you feel that makes you more comfortable, then you can do all of those things. You know how I feel about this. For me, because of the problems I've had, I find it a big relief actually to see how things are waking up. It's nice to see people in the barbers again, yes, with their shielding masks on and with their visors and things like that. But I love the fact that it's happening. I love the fact that it's possible again. I think this. I'm a sociable being. I need it now. I completely understand that some people's narrative and story will be different from that, and obviously you are absolutely entitled to have those views. And I support you in them, even though they might differ from mine. Do you see what I mean? I don't have the whole judgmental thing. There's a funny thing in the Jewish world, which Ben sort of often talks about, that anybody who is who does less than you in terms of the rules of like Shabbat rule and the halakhic stuff. If for example, if you drive to synagogue, then if you do anything, anyone who does anything less than you is somehow is basically a goy, as in a non-Jew, and anyone who does anything more than you is Meshuggah from, as in like really orthodox. And I think that we're getting to that stage now. Anyone who restricts less than me isn't living up to what they should. Anyone who does more than me is, come on, wise up. There's a danger, I think, that we could all get into that judgmental loop. I look up to them and I go, meh, 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 but I look down on them and go, meh, meh. I'm the only person doing it right. I can't be that. Not everyone can be the only person doing it right. The sun is creeping in a very, very strange way. Let me see if I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, you can still see me, I hope. I can go over there. So, what else have I been doing? In preparation for that, I have been buying things, some online and some in person, and I'm really, really excited. The cottage that we're going to stay at is in Pembrokeshire. It's on the coast in Wales, and it's absolutely lovely. It's this ramshackle cottage. It seems, well, there's going to be 15 of us, mostly children, about 8 adults. How many adults? Me, Ben, Rayleigh, Ian, Tanya, Paul, and 7 adults, and about 8 children. 9. I can't remember. 3 for the Cheadles, 3 for the Annats, and Jago. We are 14, 7 and 7. Works out very nicely. It's right on the coast, and it's above this little secluded beach. It doesn't own the beach, but it's hardly anyone else is using the beach. And it's gorgeous, and I love it, and I love swimming in the sea. I really, really enjoy it, but I get cold, and I feel the cold very, very quickly and easily. And I even if I sometimes it will be enough to stop me from wanting to go in, but often I go in, I go, that moment when it comes above the swimsuit. If you're not a boy, and chances are if you're watching this, you're not, because I know that 90% of my YouTube followers are female, then I don't know if it's the same for girls, it might be, but let me tell you, as the water comes up, if you're wearing swimming trunks, there's a bit where it just touches this sort of area, and that's a bit of a, oh! And then the other bit is when you're through that bit and it just gets to the skin above your waistband. It's like, oh, horrid. And it's a very shallow decline out. So you can't necessarily just sort of dive in because it's only up to your ankles for quite some time. It's very rocky. So 2 things about that are not good. Feet, really, really unpleasant, rocky, and gets cold, and feet and ouch. So, and I've never had any aqua shoes or anything like that. 2, cold. So I have recently, this week, it's arrived. I said, no! I've got a wetsuit. It's full length. It looks ridiculous on. Go on then, here it is. This is what I look like wearing my wetsuit. There's enough said about that, the better. The least about that I should say. But I've also bought myself these 2... These diving boots, which are good and really, really warm as well, so that's going to keep my feet warm. But I've also got these. These are weird. I didn't even know these kind of things existed. Neoprene mesh gloves. They're ever so thick. These are 5mm, and they're kind of weird. It feels very strange. I feel like some sort of weird plastic man. It's a very odd thing. I'm not quite sure the best way of taking them on and off without sort of stretching them out too much. So I decided in my sensitive-bodied manner that I wouldn't, even though it's summer. Obviously, it is summer in British waters, and the coast. God, my legs are so itchy from the scratches and bleeding all over the place. I've decided to go for a winter wetsuit. So it's actually a 5mm neoprene thing. It feels like when you're in, Michelin man can't really walk, but I think it's going to be really cosy. I put it on the other day when it first arrived, and immediately started to sweat, which made it very difficult to get off. At one point, I'd managed to, because the zip thankfully is on a tag, so you can pull it down at the back, and I'd managed to get it also off my arms, but I got on the floor and I just sort of like, Ben, help! Just like yanked it off inside out. Ridiculous. So I think when all that's on me, I think I'm going to be really, really toasty cozy, and hopefully it's just going to mean that my enjoyment of being in the water is not going to be curtailed by feeling cold, which it often is. Let me just see if there's a... now you see. That's not going to work, is it? So how about if I go to... That's a sort of halfway house. How do you feel about that? I promise I won't keep fiddling with it. So that's really, really exciting. And I also bought these because we go on long treks and hikes. And I bought myself some proper walking boots. So I've spent about £180, but I think this is all good quality. These are waterproof, and I've worn them on a few walks the last couple of days to break them in. They didn't need it. They fit really well, and they're very, very comfortable. And no rubbed skin anywhere on tops of my toes, or no bruised toenails, nothing around my ankles. It's all working very well. So that's been a lot of fun. I've also had a yarny delivery. It's horrible stuff. It's not horrible stuff. That sounds awful. I don't like knitting with acrylic. This is not for me, but this is acrylic. It's very nice yarn, and the colours are fabulous. This is paint box yarn, and I bought it from Love Crafts. And so I take it all back. It's not horrible. It's not horrid to knit with at all. I just don't normally want to use acrylic. And the reason for it is linked to my my trip away. It's going to be a sort of all in the wrong order podcast. And actually, I've got something. I pulled this off the needles. Let me try and put this back on the needles before I even show it to you. So I am the what most people would term godfather to one of the children who is going on our little camping trip. Her name is Rue. She's known to us as Rue. She's Jean Ray, and we call her Rue, and she is 9, and she is a spectacularly wonderful young lady. I adore her. I always have. I've always had a really, really strong bond with her, but I have not always been her godfather. Her godfather was the husband of one of the other people who's coming with us. And the reason he became godfather was because at the time she was born, he had just married into this little group. And it's a very sad story, really, because that marriage that he was part of is no longer current, shall we say. Jean felt that, it's so sad. I got an email out of the blue, basically, and it just said, as it looks like I won't, she was about 7 at the time, as it looks like I won't be seeing much of my godfather in the future, will you be my new one? I mean, broke my heart. Now, I spoke to her mum, and she said, absolutely, she's chosen you. You've always had a special bond. She adores you. And I was like, yeah, I adore her too. It is lovely. And I'm very, obviously I can't say no, but I sort of felt bad for her other godfather, because he's taken on that responsibility. He's always going to be that. Whether or not he is part of her life going forward, he will always be that. So I also don't have a religious faith, so I said, well, maybe the godfather aspect of the God part of the godfather word isn't necessarily what I'm looking for. So we decided, Jeannie and I, that we would come up with a different name for ourselves. Something that only we had and nobody else has. And in one of the texts that she sent to me, she signed it off, so lots of love, Rue, and then lots of carrot emoji. I said, do you like carrots? She went, yeah, I love carrots. Not to eat, she just likes carrots. She likes the look of carrots. I said, well, okay, so let's have something about that. So we've decided I'm her carrot father and she's my carrotling. It's all very, very silly. But do you see where this is going? I've decided I want to make her a scarf, and it's going to be a massive carrot. And look, here it is. It's just going to keep getting wider and wider and wider. And when I either run out of time or yarn, or it gets too big, I'm just going to stick a lime green fringe on the end of it, and it's going to look bloomin' marvellous, like a big fat old carrot that she can wrap around herself as much as possible. Now it's quite... Do you know, it's kind of fun. It's moss stitch. That was a foolish mistake, but it's great. It's great texture because it's obviously reversible, which is great for a scarf. And you know me with my double knitting, I don't like things not to be reversible. But I've also made sure that I've given it this nice selvage edge down the side, which runs there, so it's not gartery bumps on the side there, and on that side as well it's got the nice side going on, so it's actually quite nice. All of the increases, as you can see, are in the centre. Plop, plop, plop. Every 8 rows I'm increasing with a knit one yarn over knit one in the middle, and what that does is it maintains the texture and the pattern of the moss stitch, which is great. So rather than having a single increase somewhere near the side and either increasing right at the edge or having to have a border, it just pushes everything out. And so can you see how it's just like everything is in V-shaped lines which are fanning out from that centre line? I'm rather pleased with it. It's very, very easy to knit, which for me, unfortunately, makes it dead dull, which is right there. So I don't really enjoy knitting it, but I know it's going to look fabulous. I don't know what I'm trying to do there. And it doesn't take very long. It grows quite quickly. It will grow less quickly the wider it gets, of course. The idea, I would love it. I've got lots. I went to town, really. I've bought, that's the ball I'm using. I've got that one. I've also got these two, and then one for the fringe. So I might be able to make a hat that would match. So like an orange carrot top with a big green sort of saggy pom-pom thing on top for a carrot top. Something like that, matching hat and scarf set, which would be lovely. Let me know, actually. Let me know in the comments below. Is that the kind of thing that you think would be a fun thing? Because if anyone wants a pattern, I can write up a pattern. I'm not planning to. It's just something I'm knitting off the cuff, really, just to let it be a thing. So I'm so noisy. I'm just trying to tidy up, get stuff out of the way. Landed on something metal. It's like I've never done this before. It really is. I don't know why you keep going back. So that's kind of fun, and that's what I've been doing there, and that will keep me occupied for some time. But it's not as if I don't have lots of other things to keep me occupied as well, but more about that in a moment. Let's crack on, shall we, with the number 80, because it is number 80. This is the 80th Sockmatician podcast. I'm really excited to get to 80. It's taken me some while because there's obviously big gaps between some of them, but that's okay. In mathematics, 80. It's the integer that between 79 and 81. Obviously, you know that. It is the sum of Euler's Totient function, phi brackets chi, maybe that's x, I don't know, over the first 16 integers. Now, I don't really know what that means. So Euler's Totient function is, in number theory, Euler's Totient function counts the positive integers up to a given integer n that are relatively prime to n. I'm not sure what relatively prime means. It is written using the Greek letter phi as phi n or phi n. So it's an x. I said phi brackets n. And may also be called Euler's phi function. Phi as in the Greek letter phi. In other words, it is the number of integers k in the... I don't know what that means. I'm going to It's a semi-perfect number. Ooh! Since adding up the sum of... What? Since adding up some subsets of its divisors gives 80. Example, 1, 4, 5, 10, and 20, and 40 adds up to 80. But what? Semi-perfect number. In number theory, a semi-perfect number or pseudo-perfect number is a natural number that is equal to the sum of all or some of its proper divisors. Okay, so it doesn't have to be all of them. That's useful. It is, forgive me, last time we had the sexy prime. This is a Ménage number. Ménage. I don't think that's Nicki Minaj. I think that's something else. A Ménage number is the Ménage problem. The Ménage problem, or problème des ménages, asks for the number of different ways in which it's possible to seat a set of male-female couples at a dining table so that men and women alternate and nobody sits next to his or her partner. Well, that is horribly heteronormative, and the less said about that, the better. Ugh. Right. Not interested in that at all. Look at me getting one SJW. don't think so. It's a palindromic number in bases 3, 6, 9, 15, 19 and 39. We've talked about this a little bit before, and base 3 would be 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. And so instead of we counted base 10 because we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the numbers go round again with adding a 1 to the front of it, yeah? But in bases 3, it is 2, 2, 2, 2. Is it? Oh, 80, I guess it would be. So 2, 2, 2, 2 in base 3 is obviously palindromic. Base 6, it's 2, 1, 2. In base 9, it's 88. And base 15, it's 55. And base 19, it's 44. And base 39, it's 22. So in all of those, it's a palindromic number. It's rather marvellous. And it is a rep digit. It's a rep digit in bases 3, 9, 15, 19 and 39. Well, that's kind of the same, isn't it? A rep digit or monodigit is a natural number composed of repeated instances of the same digit in a positional number system, obviously implicitly decimal. The word is a portmanteau of repeated and digit. Examples are 11, 66, 444, 99999. All rep digits are palindromic numbers and are multiples of rep units. Okay, so it is, okay, so because in base 3 it's 2222, it's a rep digit. In 9 it's 88. And in 15 it's 55, and in 44 it's 99. So a rep digit is basically 1 is a rep digit. Who knew that even these things had names? Who cares? The Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, states that for many events, roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. I didn't know that. Every solvable configuration of the 15 puzzle can be solved in no more than 80 single tile moves. What's the 15 puzzle? Don't know about that. Oh, okay. That's the 15 puzzle. That there. And you know, where you move things around. So that's really interesting. Every solvable configuration of the 15 puzzle can be solved in no more than 80 single tile moves. That's weird, isn't it? It's really weird. Itching everywhere. I like that. In science, it's the atomic number of mercury is 80, and in other fields, it's around the world in 80 days, thanks to the 80 Years' War. It's the standard TCP IP port for HTTP connections. WebGeek. 80 shilling ale. The older 4-pin based version of 5Y3GT rectifier tube. That's just words. That's got into the way. Green Day had a song called 80 and a fictional alien superhero named Ultraman 80. There you go. 80 and 80 is also the number of Sockmatician podcasts. Right, how about that? Right, okay, on to the knitting stuff, because I've talked a little bit about my carrot. I have popped back into the world of very much this week, popped back into the world of my double-knitted-brioche book. I am so excited about it. Yesterday being Monday, today is Tuesday, whatever the date is, it is the 21st of July. So yesterday, Monday the 20th of July, was the day I had so much bubbling inside me that I wanted to get out, and I've been knitting and I've been designing, hadn't been doing much of the writing, and I really wanted to yesterday. Excuse me, belching again. And no blackberries, haven't eaten any yet. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've just edited out a load of sniffing. For your comfort and benefit, most definitely. So yesterday I was writing up the subject of increases in double-knitted-brioche, and I wanted to sort of get all the tutorials out and jump in there. I've got various bits where I'm jumping in. I'm not working sequentially. I'm just working on, I want to talk about this bit. And while I was talking about increases, I was talking about, I've got this scarf here. So I was talking about this kind of increase, where actually not that kind of increase, because that, oddly, is a knit one yarn over knit one, not a 1 into 3. But here, talk about this kind of increase, which I'm knitting down this this column here, and then this, see how that 2 yellow stitches there, 2 yellow stitches are coming out of 1 yellow stitch there, and on the other side as well, 2 orange stitches are coming out, brownish orange, 2 orange stitches coming out of that 1 orange stitch just there. So it's all very, very neat and tidy. It's all very lovely. That's that. So I'll talk about how to do that. Not talking about the decreases yet. That's all in another chapter. It's all done, but I need to just sort of, there's more I want to add to that. I also, where's my little swatch? I did something really, really interesting yesterday, and I can't. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I also have been talking about yarn overs, and yarn overs in that used all the way through the poncho, which is why I was going to get that, but it's a beast, and I've got lots of technical equipment in the way. Yarn overs look a bit like this. In fact, they look exactly like this. Yarn over increases, I should say, look like this in double-knitted brioche. You can definitely see there's holes there, but can you see it's not. Do you know, I am going to demonstrate this on the poncho. Forgive me if everything wiggles and jiggles. Oh, it does a bit. There you go. So here is a line of yarn over increases. In it's literally, there's God, that thing's so heavy. Here we are. So this is yarn over, pair there, knitted, a brioche pair there, and a yarn over. So it's like a yarn over knit one, yarn over increase, and you get them in lines like that. Can you see it's not exactly symmetrical around the center line? The reason for that is, of course, that in the center it's not just one knit stitch, it's one knit stitch which is next to one purl stitch which shows up on the back there. So this gutter down this side, which is very different in structure, this gutter here, very different from what's going on here. These are the holes. Then you've got the knit stitches there. Then this gutter is actually the back of that line of stitches there. And then you've got the yarn overs there. So actually you've got the yarn overs are here and here, but then you've got line of purl stitches and line of knit stitches. So it can't be fully symmetrical around that centre line because I'm doing the whole rotational turning over symmetry thing. I think it looks lovely. I think I like the look of it. I think in a long line of them, it's very, very attractive. I like the fact that you've got this sort of very lacy texture where you've got just strands crossing over everywhere in all sorts of different directions. I like that a lot. The one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't give a completely defined hole, because it gives a hole, but there's always a strand across the back. And I'm fine with that. That's what it is. It's a yarn over, and that's how the strands interact with each other, and that's how they work. So that is basically what's going on there. And it's great. You can see there. You can see the blue strand cutting across the hole there. And if I turn it over on the other side, you'll probably see the white. Still, there's quite a lot going on there, and the holes aren't round. That's okay. Yesterday, while I was fiddling around, I wasn't trying to fix the problem, because I don't think it's a problem that needs fixing, but I was just seeing, is there another way of doing this? Something where it might look a bit different or a bit more uniform, maybe? There is. This is going to sound like the biggest cop-out in the world. I have never been more glad that this book is months late than yesterday. When I discovered how to do this, because I can now put it in the book. If I discover this now, when I've delivered the book in June, this book is going to be so much better. So because there's at least one more pattern yet to be designed, or as probably not really. I'm sorry, I'm pulling thorns out of my legs. I'm wearing shorts and bleeding all over the place. Scabs, all from the brambles. So there we go. So that, see what that looks like. It's all right. See what this looks like. That is bloody marvellous. excuse my language, I am so happy with that. And of course, on the other side, just as I look how cleanly delineated those holes are. Again, you've got a blue column of knit stitches down there and a white purl ditch there, which has the white stitch on the back. So yeah, it's still got the duality of that down the centre rather than just a single line. That's obviously going to be the case, but look at those holes. This is going to make lace work in double knitted brioche. This already is. Look, it's proper lace, and it's going to be properly holy, and it's going to be absolutely blooming gorgeous. I'm so excited by it, and it's easy to do as well. I'm not going to tell you how it's done. You're going to have to buy the book for that, or if you've already bought the book, wait for the book to come out, and now the book's going to be better because it's there. Hee-hee! I'm so excited. So that's what I've been busy with there. Today I had a Zoom chat with my good friend Rowena, who is the lady who pledged for the reward tier in the Kickstarter to be able to co-design a pattern with me, and we have today nailed it. We've pinned down all the structure, the shape, the colours, the yarn we're using. We've gone for the Sockmatician edition yarn because it's going to fit with the rest of it. We're doing it in DK weight. The colours we've chosen, have I got them down? Do you know what? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to wait with that one until there's enough of it on the needles just to make it look impressive. I'm not going to say too much about it, but we've always said that we wanted to have some proper double knitted brioche lace. Slow down, Nathan. I'm so excited I can't. I've also got a time constraint on. I've got to stop doing this. It's going to be a short one because I've got to be somewhere on Zoom in about 40 minutes. So double knitted brioche lace is going to feature heavily in this shawl pattern that we're putting together. And it means that now that I've got this new way of doing these really clean yarn over holes as decreases, as increases, my mistake. I'm really excited because it's going to really make the lace pop. It's going to be much cleaner to look at. As an increase, they're lovely, and it's lacy, but it's not holes. And this is now holes, and I'm really excited, really excited by it. So talking to Rowena today was always a joy. She's fabulous, and I feel now I've mocked up an image using. We've chosen what kind of lace structure we want in parts of it. We know what the actual shape of it's going to be. I know how it's going to work. I'm ready to cast on, essentially. I need to translate the lace we want to use and recreate that in double knitted brioche lace so that it nods towards that, but isn't that, because obviously it's a lace pattern that we found that we like the look of together in a stitch directory. I have no problems finding stuff in a stitch directory and then calling this mine because I would have been inspired by it, but absolutely we have to redesign it and make it work for double knitted brioche. It's lace. It's going to be a completely different thing, but it's based just roses and not just collections of holes, but beautiful things that all flow and come together. Put a little bit of double knitting in the middle just to make it a bit more detail. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I know the colours and everything. Thank you, Rowena. It was really exciting. What else have I been up to? I have been up to a lot more triple knitting. So you've seen the beginning of my crumb brown scarf. I showed this to you last time. And for those of you who may be new to triple knitting, is knitting with not double knitting, which is just with two layers, one front and back. It's a third layer sandwiched in between, so you'll have a knit layer, a knit layer, and a purl layer, and it gives you the opportunity and the benefit of being able to add a third colour without effect, because with no stranding, so there's no passive yarn at any point, and your triple knitting can here's an example, here's that. Triple knitting can be as bouncy and stretchy and fabulous because there's actually 3 layers of knitting in here, and boy is it warm and cosy. Yes, it is. I love this hat. This is made with sock weight yarn. Look how much it stands on my head. It's huge. Fabulous. Really warm, really cosy, really very nice to work with, and I'm enjoying it immensely. There are lots of things that can be done with triple knitting. If you're watching this and didn't see this last time, we've got leafy things like this. I showed this in great detail last time, so I'll just show it. That's one side, there's the other, there's a third layer in between the two, and even this sort of madness can happen as well. So that, all of this that I've just shown you, the hat and most of the things on that swatch, are standard triple knitting, which is where you just sort of knit the colours of the stitches as you want them to build the pattern you want. There's another form of triple knitting as well, which has been pioneered by a man called Alexander Crumb Brown. And Alexander Crumb Brown that is actually a thorn in my leg. Got it. Alexander Crumb Brown was a Scottish scientist, chemist, physicist, I think, chemist maybe, working about 150 years ago. And he invented triple knitting. Who knew? His way of doing it was very different. He was looking at the interleaving properties of matter, and he was using knitting to illustrate mathematical scientific models where one layer of structure could come through another, and that's what he does with his knitting. So to change colour in it, you bring one layer through between the columns of stitch of the other one, and it gives this sort of quilted effect. It's not for pictorial stuff the way a lot of double knitting can be. You know, you can have because every stitch is a different pixel. That wouldn't work with this, but what you can come up with is lovely shapes like this. This will be the bottom of a scarf. It's not going to do this all the way up, but I absolutely love it. I really do. And it looks so completely different on the back because the colours rotate. So on this side you've got two the dark stripes, two gold and one grey. And here I've only got one dark stripe. I've got two gold and two grey. It's so lovely. It's really squidgy and fabulous and soft. And can you see how the layers are quilted? It's because here the stitches of the grey are coming in between the columns of stitches of the gold, so it literally pulls one layer through to the other. It's brain-numbingly. It makes me really concentrate, and every now and then, after a few rows of doing this, my brain shuts down. Because I have to remember where I put the yarns of the other two layers. But if I want to knit a certain colour on the top, I have to work out where the other two yarns have to go to bring that layer to the top. But I can't really explain it. It's a brain buster. It really is. But I think it's beautiful. This is the last. This gold colour here is the last layer of waves, and this looks like another set of waves. It's not. These are now going to become hexagons, and the whole scarf will be hexagons, and it will finish with some waves at the top end looking like that. So it's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. This is a project which is going to take me a long time. Don't hold your breath for this one. This is just going to be a few rows every couple of days where when I've got some downtime, I want to just sort of really think and focus on that. But I have also started another scarf, another triple knitted scarf, which is happening so much more quickly because it's standard triple knitting. I'm not going to share with you what the pattern is. I'm just going to show you what I've done so far because I love it. So can you see it's got this false fringe at one end. The false fringe which starts coming together here and becomes, for all the world, like maybe a flower stalk or a tree branch or something like that, with something branching off. Look at that. Look how it's just using increases and decreases. You can make things happen. Now, it looks so different on the back. So completely different on the back because the colours can't be negative, so it's not just grey. Oh, it's purple on the back with a grey stalk. It's magnificent, and there's so much lovely drape to this. And again, you might be surprised to just see, look. Try doing that with your Fair Isle. It's amazing. Triple knitting is giving me so much inspiration. So with this, and with Rowena's fabulous shawl, which is coming, and my carrot, and my crumb brown, as well as the fact, I haven't told you about this. With this was the little swatch with my fabulous big proper holes there in the lace rather than the sort of slightly muddied holes there. What I've realised as well, using the same concept. Oh, this has come from the needles. Hang on. Oh, I hear that. Oh, I hear that. Let me just rescue this so I can talk about it. There we go. Only 3. Yep. What you can do is you can put. It's not like a double yarn over. It's more than that. So what you can do in the double knitted brioche is you can add multiple pairs of stitches and make big holes like that. Isn't that fun? So that's in my knitting there. Ignore this. This is just an old piece of double knitted brioche that I had on the needle, and that was the first time I had done my 2 round holes. I was thinking, look, aren't they fabulous? So that's the first 2 that ever existed. And then I thought, what happens? Can you add more? And you can. So I love the idea of having big holes in a shawl which is double knitted brioche and has massive holes in it, spaced out like that. And the idea for that, there is a shawl coming with that, which may or may not get into the book, I don't know. But that was the swatch. The way I had the increase, I thought, well, that's a really nice way to start a shawl actually, because that little cup slice there will sit very nicely at the back of your neck, and just get bigger and bigger and bigger, extending. Can you see it's already in 3 sections? So these will be 3 triangles that will, and have those massive holes in. Ooh, I'm really excited about that. I've just got a notification to clear off my screen there. Sorry about that. I'm really excited by this, really more than you can imagine. So I want to cast on Rowena's shawl, that shawl. I've got those 2 scarves and my carrot all needing attention. I don't know when I'm going to have time to eat or sleep or do anything, but it's very exciting. Not everything, it must be said, goes quite so swimmingly well in Sockmatician world. It has to be said. Not everything does that. What I'm going to show you now is kind of one of my disasters. It is knitting related. It's not a piece of knitting, I should say. I have been doing quite a lot of work on the triple knitting cast-ons, and they sort of all require you holding yarns on 3 fingers like that. And I didn't want that to be an off-putting thing for people, because some people, I know there are a lot of knitters who've been knitting for a long time whose hands don't want to do that anymore. Maybe there's arthritis going on, or other reasons why you can't separate and hold and manage 3 strands of yarn. I'm quite lucky, I've got quite dexterous fingers, and they splay quite well, so I can hold my 3 yarns like that. In fact, if you look at this picture here, that's a picture of me doing this very kind of cast on. So it's easy for me, and I'm aware it might not be so easy for other people. So I had an idea for an easy tool that you could make at home. It sort of works, but it only works for one of the 2 cast-ons that I've developed. For one of them, the long tail cast-on doesn't work at all. It really doesn't work at all. I hadn't even considered it, but it does work a bit for the tubular cast-on. Here it is. It's a wooden spoon with 3 cup hooks screwed into it, not far enough to go through the other side. But then I thought, well, if actually you could hold it like that, and theoretically lovely. To be honest, it's much more useful as a little back scratcher than it is, because than it is as it's actually quite nice. It is quite useful. It works on the head. Ooh, yeah, that's not bad at all. I quite like it. Ooh, it's nice in the middle. So essentially, basically, what I wanted it to be able to do, let me try and start and set this up to show you, is I wanted it to work. So you put your 3 yarns on it, colour on my finger. Let me get some sort of needle. Have I got a DPM lying around anywhere? I haven't, so I'll just use this one. So I wanted to be able to use the three like that and go, okay, so there's my, which one is it? There's that one, and there's that one, and there's that one, and there I've just cast on the 3 stitches, black, grey, gold, for the tubular version of the colour. It works, it does. I've never actually knitted, I've never gone ahead and done the cast on and then actually used it. But look, there you go. It's casting them on as I want them, and it's accurate enough, and you can just let a bit more through, and then pick up that one and go around and take that one. So it works. I don't know how neat it would be, but it would certainly, if you don't have the Am I completely mad? Don't answer that, don't write in. Is this something that might be useful, do you think? If you're not very good at manipulating yarns, you don't need to. You just hold them there and just sort of like let them through your finger as you go, as you need them. I don't think I'll be patenting it anytime soon, and I don't what I'd forgotten, of course, with the long tail cast on, I should have just taken that off. With the long tail cast on, you've got to be able to sort of take your thumb out and put it back in, and you can't do that when it's a hook. But it works. It's all right. It's. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So I've decided I'm not going to test out my wetsuit or anything like that before. I'm just going to go straight to Wales and test it out there, which is very exciting. Hopefully I will be taking all of these other knitted projects and hopefully get plenty of time in the car on the way there, if nothing else, if Ben will share the driving with me so I can have a couple of hours knitting there. And hopefully there'll be more to talk about. Hopefully I will ideally want to give another podcast episode before I go. If I don't get one in next week, it'll be just a couple of weeks after, but I might. Do you know what? I might film a podcast from Wales. Why not? I wouldn't be able to edit it, I don't think, until I get back. So I can film it on my phone and leave it there. But I'm not going to take my computer. But you never know. You may get a chance to see what we're doing. I'll certainly show some footage of it because it is gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. This will be the 3rd time we've been to this cottage and we absolutely love it. Gorgeous. I'm going to wrap this up now. It's an hour, so this is a short one. 80, not even 80 minutes. No! I hope you've enjoyed being part of my journey today. Thank you for being part of my onward journey. As I said, I have to be somewhere else now, so I'm going to wrap this up and say that while this podcast episode is very definitely, unusually, already a finished object, remember life is a work in progress, and in these unsettling times, more than ever before, just take it one step. I messed up my own catchphrase. One stitch at a time. And I'm not even going to edit this out, can't be bothered. So, thank you for being part of my onward journey. It really, really means the world to me. And while it is true that this podcast episode very much is a finished object, just remember life is a work in progress. Take it one stitch at a time. There you go. It's all done. See you next time. Bye-bye.